So we have not yet talked about the theory of charts. When people are making charts in Excel, they are trying to tell a story. And you know the saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. You want to make sure that your chart is saying the correct 1,000 words. So if I have favorite ice cream flavors and I put in some numbers and I want to make a chart, if I go ahead and make a pie chart out of this, I'm going to say insert, recommended, double click. Okay, now I get a pie chart. And this is pie charts intrinsically, by definition, their whole reason for existence is that they do percentages, pieces out of 100%. So I put in these random numbers. I don't know what they add up to. My screen is too small. There we go. Okay. So what do they add up to? They add up to 168. Okay. So that is not 100. However, this pie is going to be out of 100% because that is what pie charts do. And let me slide this down so I can get at my thing. Okay, so if I switch my layout here and I go quick layout and I change it to that one that I want you to do, want you to be able to do for the final, you will notice that we now have other says 25%. It was 42 over here. 42 is the raw number. It's the unprocessed number. It is the data. A lot of times in computer textbooks, they talk about the difference between data and information. So data is the unprocessed raw numbers. So it's the uncooked number. And then over here, it says, here's my information. Other is 25% out of 100%. So vanilla is 65 over here. Over there, it's 39. And if I want to see this better and I want it to print better, I'm going to click once and then I'm going to drag. And this is a different rhythm than our normal thing. Normally the pattern of clicking and dragging feels a little bit different. So people have trouble getting these out because they will click and then drag and doesn't work. In fact, I think I did that on the video the other day. I got distracted. If you get distracted, click out of it so nothing's active and then just start again. So click it once and then drag, push down the mouse and pull. Okay, so that is what this kind of chart does for a living. Now, I can make multiple charts off the same data. So I can say insert, and I'm going to choose this time a column chart. And it puts in my information like this. And column charts tend to be more likely to be just the raw data. So I'm going to go quick layout. There's one that shows just the numbers. So I have 25 strawberry. It's not 25%. That's the actual number. Also, when you're doing this, so I'm talking about some theory, and then as things come up, I'm also going to tell you some specific things. So when I have this situation where I've only got one series of data, just one group of numbers, one row or one column, that's called a data series. It's just the vocabulary. I'm going to get a duplication up here, and I think it looks bad. So all these things inside the chart are live. They're all hot. They're all changeable. So I'm just going to click on that and hit my delete key, and it removes that legend. It's like the legend on a map. It's the legend on the chart. I'm going to just remove that, and you'll notice it makes the rest of the chart a little bit bigger, and I don't have a redundant title up at the top. So I think that looks a lot better. Okay, so this is another choice I could make, and this gives me a count. How many strawberry ice cream did I sell? I mean, let's say this is how many I sold, or I don't know, something. So 25 strawberry, 36 chocolate, 65 vanilla, and 42 other flavors. That's different than over here. It's saying 39% is vanilla, 25% is other, 15%, 21%. So if I want to decide how much vanilla ice cream I need to buy in order to stock my ice cream shop, this is not useful. 39% is not useful. I need to know when I go to the warehouse, I need to know how many gallons of ice cream I need to buy. And in this case, it's telling me, oh, I sold 65. Like maybe this is ice cream sales. Okay. So I sold 65, so I need to have 65 again this time, this next month or week. If I come over here and I say 39% and I'm in the store and I'm trying to decide how many I want to buy, 39% is useless. It doesn't tell me anything. I mean, it's not useful for that purpose. So different charts tell me different things and I can use them different ways. Another chart that I could have that's very, very common is a line chart. So I'm going to say insert chart again. It's not on my list. I can go to all. I can say line. I'll just pick this guy. Okay, so now I have ice cream sales. Okay, this is a terrible chart for this. This is a horrible, bad, no good chart for my ice cream sales by flavor. It's terrible. This is an okay chart as long as it's the right purpose. My pie chart, this guy is okay as long as that's the kind of data I need. This is never going to be good. It will never be good. So line charts have an extreme bias. Everybody, when they look at a pie chart, at a line chart, they're going to think that this axis going across here, the x-axis, is time. That is really the default. And it's very, very difficult to overcome this. So it looks like I sold a little bit here, then I sold some more, then I sold a whole bunch, and then it dropped back down again. That is what this looks like. Also, because it is a line, we learn in math classes that one of the things about a line is between any 2 points, there is always another point. And so on a proper line chart, which this is not, this is very, very bad. Bad, bad, wrong, don't do this. On a proper line chart, I should be able to poke this spot right here and it should mean something. Right now, if I look at this, I mean, what does this mean? It's halfway between chocolate and vanilla. So is this chocolate vanilla swirl? Is this describing what comes out of a soft serve ice cream machine? You know, what's going on here? That is probably not what's going on here, especially between vanilla and other. You know, that just makes no sense. So I'm going to delete this guy. By the way, to delete a chart, don't click on one of the pieces. We already saw what happens when you do that. Click in the background, in this white paper background. This is not nothing back here. See how I can't see my grid lines and I can't see other things? It's a little piece of, like a white piece of paper. Click back there and hit delete. Okay, I'm going to take this stuff. I'm going to take my data, move this guy. It's also how you move them. Grab the white part. I'm going to copy it over to another tab where I have a little more room. And I'm going to change these to January, February, March, April. Oops. Okay. And now I'm going to make a line chart out of it. Now, this makes perfect sense because here we have January, February, March, April, and I didn't sell very much ice cream in January. I sold a little more in February, a whole bunch in March. I don't know why I didn't sell any in April. Maybe we got shut down. I'm filming this during COVID, so there you are. Everything's COVID related, right? So up, way up, comes back down. That makes total sense. And if I poke this spot right here, I can interpolate the data. So I can say between these 2 points, extrapolate is when you go outside beyond the data, when you say, where is this trend line going to continue in these directions? And in between 2 points, I can also estimate. And if I poke this spot and I get a number, so let me poke it someplace that is easy. So 50. So I have about 50 probably at about the middle of February. So I can kind of estimate on February 15th, I sold about 50 units of ice cream. That makes total sense. I can estimate my sales on a line. That is how lines work. And that's how time works. Time is a continuous thing, and this line goes wherever it goes, and I can estimate by poking a specific, looking at a particular point on the line. Column and bar charts, so columns go up and down, bars go horizontally. They tend to do well with raw numbers. If I changed this to something that was percentages, have I even got a percentage? I think they don't even offer you a percentage in these quick layouts. And boy, if you don't find something in the default quick layouts, you want to take a step back and think about what you're doing, because maybe the reason why it's not there is because maybe it's not a good idea. So if I had percentages for each of these, it'd be very difficult for me to compare these columns here and try to figure out, like, here's this one and that one, and they're about the same height. They're pretty close to the same height. How much difference is there? So yeah, these do better with raw numbers, so do bar charts. This guy, a pie chart, is always 100% of the time, it is parts out of 100%. So we have things like, what's my piece of the pie? You see all these things in the language. You see phrases that come from the pie and the pie chart. So these different charts are fundamentally for different purposes. They tell completely different stories. And if you choose one that's extremely wrong for what you're trying to do, if your x-axis is not time, you need to really think about whether or not you should be using a line chart. They can be used with some other things, but you need to be aware of that. And oh my goodness, if you were to run the time the other direction, that would be just terrible. So be aware there are certain ways that these things are understood. By default, our language goes left to right. So you have a starting on the left, and then it progresses to the right. You would never put the time going backwards. That would completely confuse your audience. You want charts as pictures to make things easy for people to understand. So choose the correct chart. All right, go forth and make good charting life choices.